Hello everyone and welcome to Gadgets 360. Motorola today has launched two new smartphones in India, the Motorola Edge 20 and the Motorola Edge 20 Fusion. So I have the Motorola Edge 20 Fusion with me, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead, unbox this device and give you your first look and my first impressions of this device. But if you're new here, I would recommend you to subscribe to the Gadgets 360 YouTube channel and click on that bell icon so that you are notified whenever we upload a new video. Let's begin. So this is what the box of the Motorola Edge 20 Fusion looks like. The typical blue Moto box. It does not have specifications mentioned at the back, but it does mention it's 5G enabled and it's ready for PC. So let's go ahead, unbox this device and take our first look at it. The Motorola Edge Fusion is the first thing to come out of the box, and it has a case on it already. Keep that aside, dive deeper into the box. Get a couple of documentation. The charger, as you can see, it's a 30-watt charger that you get in the box with a Type-C output. So you get a Type-C to Type-C cable in the box, and of course is the SIM eject tool. Boot up the device and give you a first look at it. So let's go ahead, set this up, and then I'm going to run you through all the specifications of the device. Since we're here, let's quickly pop the SIM tray open and check what configuration we get. You can see it's a hybrid SIM slot design that you get with it. You can either use two SIMs or one SIM and a micro SD card. So let's set up the fingerprint scanner on it. As you can see, it's got a side mounted fingerprint scanner, so it's positioned right on the power button. Quickly, you can also scan it from the other hand. This just makes it easier to unlock. And fingerprint scanners very easy to set up. So now that we have set up the Motorola Edge 20 Fusion, I'm going to run you through all the specifications. At the front, it has a big 6.7-inch OLED display with HDR10 support and 90Hz refresh rate. So I'm going to quickly also check what the refresh rate is set at by default. So as you can see, the refresh rate is set to 90Hz by default, and you do have the option to switch it to 60Hz if you don't intend on using it. Now, the benefit of a 90Hz display is that scrolling is going to appear super smooth on it, though this comes at the cost of battery life. Now, speaking of battery life, the phone packs in a 5000 mAh battery, and you can see the device is also thin at, I think it's about 8.25 mm in thickness, and it weighs about 185 grams. And as we've seen earlier, it gets a 30-watt charger in the box. When it comes to the UI is typical Moto. You get this based on top of Android 11. As you can see, there's not a lot of bloatware on it. You have the Moto app and a few other Google apps that are also being downloaded at this point. I'm going to quickly run you through the version of Android on this device. This runs Android 11 with the August security patch, which is the latest one that is available. You also get this phone in two color options, electric graphite and cyber teal. I have the electric graphite variant with me here. So this smartphone is also IP52 water resistant, and it also has a tiny rubber seal around the SIM slot. So I'm going to quickly show you the buttons on the device. So on the right, you have the power button, which also doubles up as the fingerprint scanner. Right above it are the volume buttons. Now the power button placement is convenient. You can reach it, though the volume buttons need a slight stretch of the hand. There's another button here which I assume is the Google Assistant. So you can quickly press the button to summon the Google Assistant. At the bottom, you get a 3.5mm headphone jack, the USB Type-C port, primary microphone, and the loudspeaker. At the top, well, there's only the secondary microphone here. At the back, as you can see, it's got a glossy finish and it kind of picks up smudges. So the case is in the box, you can use that. The camera module kind of reminds me of the iPhone 11 if you let go of the sensor, but yeah, it's a triple camera setup with a 108 megapixel primary camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. You also have the flash right below it. Now, in terms of the processing power, Motorola has picked the MediaTek Dimensity 800U SoC for this particular device, and you have two RAM options. You have 6GB and 8GB RAM options on this device, and storage is constant at 128GB. Though you have the option to expand storage to 512GB, but it comes at the cost of the second SIM slot. Now, speaking of SIMs, this takes in 2 nano SIMs and has support for 5G on both. So that makes it kind of future-proof in a way. So at the top, right in the center, you've got a hole punch towards the top, and that is the 32 megapixel selfie camera. It's kind of hard to see with that display, but yeah. So this is the 32 megapixel camera on it. As usual, Moto actions are present on the device. So you do have the option to use gestures to customize it. So from what I remember, there's a fast touch gesture which you can simply double chop again to enable the flashlight. Then there's also the double twist gesture which pretty much enables the camera on this. So these are useful gestures. I've used it on older Motorola smartphones as well. There's a few more. You can lift to unlock, the power touch. There are a lot more which we are going to explore during the full review. You get gesture navigation by default. I think you can go back to the traditional 3-button layout if you want to. The display is quite vivid. It's got an AMOLED panel, and I think you have the option to tweak the display settings. As you can see, you do have the option to alter the color temperature if required, and also a color mode, natural or saturated. There's also peak display, which takes advantage of the OLED display on the panel, and you will be able to check your notifications on the lock screen itself. So the Dimensity 800U is something different and in this price segment, so I will be putting this to the test, and if you don't want to miss the review of the Moto Edge 20 Fusion, well, stay tuned to Gadgets 360. So that was a quick unboxing and your first look at the Motorola Edge 20 Fusion. Now what do you think about this smartphone? Do let me know that in the comment section down below. And as always, for all things tech, stay tuned to Gadgets360.com.